Welcome, He-Man! You boob! I love Skeletor, one of my favorite villains of all time, and I think he actually called He-Man, or maybe it was Beastman. It was one of the two. He called somebody a boob. He's like, you boob! I love it. Love Skeletor. Hey, in this episode, we're talking the deleted scenes of Halloween, the deleted and extended scenes of Halloween 2018. So let's get to it. It's a fucking shit show! What you think you see, what you think you hear, that's what it's about. Mood and atmosphere. No, it's fucking garbage. It's garbage. Mood and atmosphere. Now that I really like. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Yes, that's right. In this video, we are talking the deleted and extended scenes for Halloween 2018. Why? Well, because today is Tuesday, January the 15th, 2019, and Halloween 2018 was released on Blu Ray and 4K today. If you guys don't have your copy, you better get out there and get it. This copy right here on 4K is going to be going to one of my patrons. I'm holding a giveaway on my Patreon right now. So if you're part of my Patreon and you haven't got in on that, you may want to think about doing that. Tomorrow, the winner will be announced. Okay, so let's talk the deleted scenes for Halloween 2000, the deleted and extended scenes for Halloween 2018. And in order, they are extended shooting range, shower mask visit, jog to a hanging dog. I like the rhyme. Allison and friends at school, Cameron and cops don't mix, deluxe Bonme, I don't know how to pronounce that. Cops, and Sartain and Hawkins ride along. Oh boy. I have watched all of the deleted and extended scenes, and these are my thoughts. Sometimes when you watch a deleted scene, or an extended scene, or a combination of both, it's deleted and extended, you go, what the fuck? Why was that not in there? Oh, if that was in there, that would have given more context. It would have filled this out a bit more, would have made more sense to this. And they totally shouldn't. They should not have deleted that. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you watch a deleted scene and you're like, I can understand why they took that out. It's completely irrelevant, and they probably took it out to help speed up the pace. Most of these scenes, if not all of them, actually fall into that category. They all really are unnecessary. However, some more than others. So let's start with the completely unnecessary ones. Sartain and Hawkins ride along. If you watch that deleted scene, which is the last one in the list, completely unnecessary. Sartain's picking his nose. Hawkins is like, don't pick your fucking nose in my car. I don't want your boogers all over my car. Like, it is completely unnecessary. Danny McBride was probably all over that scene. So I'm glad it's gone. The deluxe whatever it is, cop scene is also completely unnecessary. It's more of an extension of the scene that we already got. I already think that scene drags on far too long anyway. I understand why or what they're trying to illustrate in this scene. They're just trying to show two cops who are completely unaware and oblivious to what's going on down the road, right? And what's coming to them, that impending danger. It's that contrast between these two cops who are just chilling, having this conversation with each other. It's kind of casual. You know what I mean? It's a fun kibitzing back and forth. I get it. I totally get it. But I think it went on for far too long. For me, as I said in my review of the movie, it was borderlining sort of Friday the 13th cops. It's kind of like, okay, I get it. And anybody who says, no, that was just the tip, that was their homage to the bumbling cops in Halloween 5. No, it wasn't. And if it was, well, then they're fucking stupid. Because out of anything you could have tipped your hat to in that movie, that's what you tip your hat to? No, I don't think that is it at all. I just think it's to show this camaraderie, this sort of, cute kind of friendship between these two guys that are just being silly. And I get it. And had it been maybe 30 seconds shorter, I think it might have worked. But it just went on too long. And this is just an extension of that, which I just think is now it's even longer. And it's like, okay, we don't need this. So whatever. Cameron and cops don't mix. I actually like this scene. And the reason I like this scene is because it tells us essentially what happened to Cameron. Okay? Now, well, David says in the book. I don't know. Does it? I haven't read the book. Maybe it does. Maybe they'll tell us in a sequel if they do a sequel, right? I don't know. But if they don't, I'm like, yeah, it kind of fills it out a bit. It shows the relationship a bit more between Cameron and Allison. Is it unnecessary? It is, but out of all the deleted scenes, that's the one that you might think about putting back in there because it does answer an unanswered question about a character that just suddenly doesn't show up anymore, and it doesn't really feel organic for any reason why the character doesn't suddenly is gone. I mean, I guess we assume that he was drunk and his girlfriend's pissed off and because he was acting like a dick, and he just assumed, well, maybe I'll go home and sleep the night and call her tomorrow. I mean, you could, fill in the blank and kind of think maybe that's what happened, but not necessarily, right? I mean, there were a lot of people that were like, whatever the fuck happened to Cameron? Like, he's just kind of gone, right? And this scene explains what happened to him. So if they could have put it in, I probably would have said, yeah, just put it in. It's an interesting scene, in terms of showing the relationship between Allison and Cameron and showing what happened to him. So I don't know, but that's how I kind of feel about it. Allison and friends at school. I actually like this scene as well, because one of my complaints, I have a fair amount of them, but one of my complaints with the movie was I wasn't emotionally attached to any of the characters. You're already emotionally attached to Laurie because of the history you have, not only with 1978, but the history you have with 1981 and 1998 and 2002. Even though those movies no longer exist, it's still in your consciousness. We are still attached to this character. This character has so much weight in the pop culture consciousness that you cannot help, as soon as you see her on screen, you're emotionally attached to her right away. Like, instantaneously, right? So Laurie's not a big deal. I mean, we're already attached to her. Jamie Lee Curtis is a top-notch A-list actress. This is one of her best performances in years. Not an issue. The other characters, to care about them and care what happens to them, we need to become more emotionally attached to them. I didn't give a fuck about Vicky. I didn't give a fuck about Dave. I didn't give a fuck about Cameron. And I kind of didn't really care about Allison. I cared more about her than I did the rest, but that was primarily because she is the granddaughter of the woman that I actually literally care about a lot. So, that is sort of what it was. It was that sort of default caring because, well, I hope she kind of makes it, because of who she is, right? And we do become more attached to her than we do the others. But this scene kind of just, it's unnecessary. I mean, you can take it out if you need to speed some things up and make things a bit tighter. Totally understand. But it is kind of nice because it's not long, but it might just be enough to help the audience care a little bit more about what happens to Dave and Vicky, and maybe a little bit more about what happens to Cameron. And of course, we don't know what happens to Cameron, but to Allison, right, kind of shows their relationship a bit when he gives her that little, pumpkin kind of thing. And she's like, oh, I don't know, it's just that time of year. And it's just that little bit that helps fill out just a little more so we can have time to kind of just grab onto something just a bit more. So I kind of liked it. It was a scene that I probably, if I could have kept in, I would have kept in. Jog to a hanging dog. Love this scene. Not just because it rhymes, but I actually really like this scene because there's that connection. There's that connection to the past. Now, how Michael Myers in broad daylight, in the morning or the afternoon, dressed in a white sort of, sanitarium jumpsuit is up there, hanging the dog by a rope. Well, we're not supposed to know that, okay? And nobody came out going, hey, the fuck you doing? Doesn't really matter. But it's cool. I do think Allison is, as a runner, and I've been running for about 24 years now, I do think she's jogging a little too quickly. I know that seems like, oh, Dave, seriously? Like, that's what you're complaining? No. It's just because I'm a runner, I'm like, it looks like she's sprinting. Like, and maybe she's sprinting because she's almost home, so she's in the last leg of her run, and she really wants to kind of, sometimes joggers will do that, but it just looked like she was running really fast. And I would have, as the director, I would have said, can you just slow it down just a little bit? Like kind of not slow, but you're not sprinting here. That was just a side thing that I kind of noticed as a runner. But that aside, I love the connection with the dog in the tree, making the connection to the original film. Really cool. I like that. Not necessarily, but it was something that us hardcore fans could have grabbed onto a little bit more. It was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And she sees that like, oh, like, what the fuck? Like, who the hell would do that, right? Do you know what I mean? It's interesting. I don't know where they would have put that in the movie in terms of the flow of the narrative, like where that scene would have come. I have no idea, or where they were thinking about putting it. Do we see Allison leave for a run? Do we see her come home from the run? Do we see? I have no idea, but certainly the dog in the tree is really cool. Like that's that connection that I actually like. And then of course, seeing James Jude Courtney as Michael Myers way down at the end of the street was kind of cool. A little kind of funny in its own way, because he's just kind of, standing. Maybe it would have been a little more cool and awesome if he was actually in the getup already with the mask. Maybe it would have been like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Seeing him kind of out there in his bare feet, just kind of, just kind of like, okay. But then at the same time, it's like, well, that is kind of cool, and I like the way the street looked. Okay, because shooting in Charleston, South Carolina, you're not shooting in the Midwest. You're not shooting, in a town that really looks like the Midwest. I mean, it's the South. So, but that street, whatever the street they were shooting on, where you see him kind of just standing there, it didn't look too bad to me, at least on first watch. I'd have to watch it again, but I remember thinking, oh, this is not a bad scene. I kind of like this. If I could have, I might have kept it in there. Just saying. Okay, shower mask visit. Completely unnecessary. Don't give a fuck about it. Don't really care. I mean, Rhian Reese is cute, so, you have a shower scene. Okay. But I mean, who cares? Right? At the end of the day, he's putting it on. I just thought I'd take that thing off. It's unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. I'm glad it's not in the movie. And extended shooting range. The first one at the, that's right. Extended shooting range, the first one at the top of the list. I really like this. And I primarily like it because of the way this extended scene ends and how we see the scar on her arm. We see Laurie loading a gun, like almost as if she's going to play Russian roulette with herself, right? And she puts the gun to her chin and she's up like this, and then bzz, bzz, she's interrupted by the scene that is in the movie that we cut right to, of course, which is the documentary podcast filmmakers showing up. I don't believe that Laurie Strode was going to kill herself. I don't think that's what that was trying to illustrate. I think it was just showing that Laurie isn't afraid to necessarily take that step if she had to. I don't think at that moment she was going to. That's not the feeling I was getting from the scene, and I don't think that's what David Gordon Green and company were trying to illustrate for us. I just think that it was showing that she's not afraid that if she had to make that decision, depending on the circumstances, she would. And she just wanted to see what it felt like. She wasn't planning on doing it right at that moment, or if ever. I mean, but if it ever came to that, she wanted to feel it. So I don't have anything here that could act as a gun, but, say this thing, right? So she's there and she puts it up like this and she's just like, and in her mind, she's thinking, so that's what it feels like. Like, this is it. This is the moment. Can I do this? Yes, I think I can. She was just kind of going through that. And why I love that so much is because it helps show us where Laurie Strode is in this time of her life. Now, I do believe that they have done a really good job of showing us where Laurie Strode is at this point in her life through exposition, through her actions, through the performance. Absolutely 100%. So it's not needed, but it's just that extra of that. For me, it's kind of like, that's kind of nice to have. It just kind of fills it out just a bit more. Just a bit more where you're like, damn. Like, she's fucking like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of like it. And I like that the beginning of that extended shooting range is also extended as well. That we see her shooting, but we see her drinking, right? It's very pensive. It's the body language that she is showing through that extended scene that I actually quite like. And then she walks out and she walks up to the mannequin, she points the gun and shoots him right in the head. It's all about showing where Laurie Strode is at this point in her life. And although what they have in the movie is fine and it works, I think this extended shooting range, including the moment where she's playing Russian roulette with herself, not really, like I said, I don't think she was actually going to do it, I would have kept it in there. I think it was really solid. However, at the same time, I understand that as it plays out right now, it is kind of nice that the filmmakers show up at the house, or the investigators, let's say, show up at the house, and you just hear her voice. That's the first time we're introduced to her character, is hearing her voice. We're like, oh shit, that's Laurie Strode. That's kind of cool. And then she, we see her arms and her hands, and she unlocks the door and she opens the door and she comes to the door. That is always a great introduction to a character when you haven't seen a character in a long time. That's really cool. So it works as is, it's perfectly fine, but there is something kind of nice about that extended scene that I kind of like too. But I get why they went with the other one. Totally, 100%. So, yeah, in a nutshell, believe it or not, that is a nutshell with me. Those are my immediate thoughts on the extended and deleted scenes from the Halloween 2018 Blu Ray and 4K. Yeah, I mean, maybe when I watch the extended and deleted scenes a bit more, I might have some more thoughts on it, but those are my first impressions anyway. My name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. What did you think of the extended deleted scenes from Halloween 2018? Which ones did you like? Which ones did you not like? Which ones did you want to be in the movie that you wish, you know what, I kind of wish that was in the movie because that would have, slowed the pace down a bit, helped me get more attached, or maybe you didn't think any of them were necessary and you're completely fine with the movie as is. Maybe. Who knows? My name's Dave McRae. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. That's where I tend to post in the meantime and in between time when I'm not posting here. Link is in the description. If you want to help support the channel each and every month via Patreon and get in on some Patreon goodies, that link is in the description as well. So, yeah, in the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you guys soon. Cheers.